welcome to the panelists. We are going to be very informal and just talk very freely about the topic. The bad side of our panel discussion is that we are the last panel discussion. And every topic that they've had, I've sat through every panel discussion since yesterday. It all revolves around the same thing. And so you will have repetition of answers and repetition of thoughts, but they will be from a different perspective because every individual has his own idea. Having said that, I'm not speaking, but I'm reading as I researched on the topic. In our fast paced, ever changing digital world, digital literacy, they say, is an indispensable skill. It encompasses the ability to not only find and assess information, but also to create and effectively communicate it using various technologies. Digital literacy isn't just about knowing how to use specific tools, it's about staying adaptable and informed in our technology-driven society. Having shared my thoughts about what digital literacy is, my first question will be to Mr. Akbar. So to you, what do you feel digital literacy means to you as a leader? And how do you think it is relevant to students in today's world?
Hello. Is it afternoon? Good afternoon, and thank you for having me as a guest. So your question is, what does digital literacy mean to me, and how? And what was the second part of the question?
And how effective or how relevant is it to students in today's world?
So digital literacy, basically, it means that students have an understanding of how to use um, technology in all aspects as it's integrated in the world that we live in. Not only being able to utilize technology, but being able to do it ethically and responsibly. So we believe in making our students or giving our students the skills to be digital citizens, and the impact is tremendous. The significance cannot be counted because this is the world that we're living in. And I implore educators and educational institutions not to fear AI, but to not to run away from the inevitable because it's here. It's already here, and it's going to just continue to expand. So we have to make sure that our students are able, they're competent, they're responsible, they're ethical in the use of it, and they need to understand that it is a part of their future. So this is critical for them to have what we call 21st century skills to be able to have a successful future and be contributors to the local and global community.
I'll just carry on with you. Another short question. You are from this part of the world. We are from the other part of the world. Would you agree that digital literacy would be easier for you to deal with than for us?
Well, what part of the world are you referring to? I'm actually from the States, so I don't know in what sense.
Yeah, so children there are more open to. I'll be asking Tabassum the next question, because we don't have a parent community that will be very, very open to exposing their children to gadgets in the digital world. You don't face that challenge.
No, I don't. I think the challenge in the States is probably access, because there's a discrepancy in the access to technology along the lines of economics and socioeconomic issues. So I think the disparity is the biggest concern, but most people understand the importance and significance of it. It's a matter of getting that discrepancy resolved, making sure that all children have the access.
All right, thank you. Tabassum, I'll come to you. I'm taking on from where he left, actually. Is it a challenge for you to literally very strongly foster this truth, this holy truth, that the world is progressive, how easy is it for you, or how difficult is it for you to communicate this thought process to your parent community?
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Uh, as
First,
we are
I'll
talking,
just stop you again.
yeah.
First, as an educator, do you agree that your students must be digitally literate?
Yes, absolutely, I do
You
agree.
agree?
Yes,
Answer me honestly.
yes.
Have you been successful in getting your students to be so and convincing your parents?
Convincing our parents, it's a bit challenging, yes, of course. But yes, I have seen the results in the students when they adopted, especially AI, with the different tools with that. Obviously, there is a drastic change, and obviously there is a positive results which we has given, which we have got, and at the same time, it is not that easy to make only AI other than human emotional intelligence as well. So that is where in India we do face this, that not only with self-driven courses are independent for the students, but at the same time the facilitator, the teacher, the mentor is obviously needed for their ethical browsing and to understand their effective learning.
Thank you so much. To you, Mr. Chabaria, tell me, what strategies have you adopted to digitally educate your children?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lakshya Chabadia. I am head of school, SR Capital Group of School. First of all, it's my pleasure to share the dais with such esteemed dignitaries, and thank you, Elets World Education Summit, for giving me this opportunity. We have created a framework. We are teaching best of the tools like Canva, Google Docs, and all the digital tools we are teaching. And we are teaching robotics and STEM have been introduced in our school. Our children are making apps and online websites. So it is not difficult for us to teach digital literacy is not a challenge for us. So post COVID things have been changed. Teachers have become more adaptable. Parents are more accepting the digital technology. So we have to create a framework for the school so that things can be done smoothly. Thank you.
Sir, I'm very practical. Don't mind me. I'm going to grill you a little bit. You sound, you sounded very interesting. But can you share what do you do on the ground level? You said you do it.
Yes, we are doing.
How many students do you have?
We have 1,500 students in one school. We are running 3 schools.
And you have this program from what class to what class?
For class 6th, I can show you the app, the website. We are using the tools like Canva, which makes things very easy to use.
When and how do you use it?
We
And
use we have introduced in a separate we have created a separate curriculum, like teachers take separate classes for dedicated children.
So it's not for everybody.
Now it is for class 6th onwards, but there are category of children.
But you just said for
No.
dedicated children.
That I said the dedicated children, but there are many students who create a single page. There are many students who create a professional website. There is a difference. Basic website, all the student can make a basic website, but creating a professional website with several pages, our dedicated student do.
All right. The reason I'm asking this, I don't mean to intimidate him, is to just pass on a very truthful message. Are we as leaders literally meaning what we say by attending such conferences? We are aware of the importance of digital literacy. But do we have a digital literacy program in school as an eyewash, or because we genuinely care, preparing our kids for the future? I think time has come where schools have to move from preparing kids for an examination to preparing kids for life. And that comes if we are very genuinely into it, and not as an eyewash to the societal community to impress them what our schools are, or to the parent community, just to show them. If we are doing something, basically, I'm very clear about one thing. We do it completely. Ma'am, would you like to share your thoughts on what I said? That's Noor, ma'am. She came late. You can clap for her, please. At least she came. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize for coming late. I have an inspection, upcoming inspection. That's why I was busy. I'm Husaina Sharif, the school principal of the Bloomington Academy, Ajman. This topic is one of my favorite topic. That's why I came running over here. Digital citizenship, digital literacy is very important for today's generation and for future generation as well. And I just want to say something as an educator that we should not be scared of to allow the students to use digital devices. When we provide the digital literacy to the students, then we should not be scared of it. There is a curriculum, like in our school, it is NOS accredited. So we have e-safety curriculum separately. It is not just integrated in ICT subject, but it's also integrated in other subject where students get the awareness of cyber safety and bullying, etc. And also students are given opportunities to take part in doing apps, then many projects like robotics. Of course, like, doing 100% is a challenge, but we are trying our best, and the school has received an online e-safe child protection award from Emirates Safer Society. This was possible only because of the teamwork. So we have to first have a policy in place, and then we have to form a team, e-safety team, and coordinator should be there, in which students, parents, all the stakeholders must be involved. And in that NOS accreditation, and there are many accreditations like this, so where there are courses for parents and teachers. So the parents can be educated through those online courses, and school can invest on that. School must definitely think on investing on this. Thanks to my chairman of the North Point Education who invested wisely on this. So through this, we are able to educate the parents of today how to safeguard their children. Also, we are providing, like, by having like relationship, I mean MUNs with other cyber safety teams. They can, like, we have Techion who comes in, visits, and also gives awareness programs to our students. We also take the students outside for many conferences. So this gives an awareness. We should not stop students or give that fear to them. At the same time, we should teach them how to safeguard from digital footprints, etc. So this is what I will say.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Angelo, I just want to add, earlier technology was not so much available. We have to know the coding part much more. Right now, we use the framework, we can use the UI based programming, we can do the block based programming. So coding is not required for the children. So it has become very easy for our children to learn, to make the websites and the apps.
Yeah, it's true. We are talking about digital literacy, but there's a bigger question that the children actually are far more literate where digital sphere and field is concerned than some of us. We have to accept it. And so this talk can actually take another direction, whether we should discuss other issues a little more seriously than digital literacy, which is very much into them. They know a lot. Having said that, the gentleman there has a question. Mr. Akbar, I'll ask you to take his question, please.
Very interesting panel. Thank you, Angela Michael, for a active question and very thought-provoking questions. Very happy to participate in this discussion. I recently read a book that published by New York Times bestseller, 100 Things We Have Lost Because of Internet.
Come again, I didn't get it.
100 Things Lost to the Internet. There is a book written by Pramila Paul,
Okay.
one of the published a New York bestseller. In that, they have highlighted the first thing, we lost that boring. It has been noticed that as an educator, I have noticed that whenever we go from one period to another period or one class to another class, there will be a break or there is a short time. Students are using device and they use for various kinds of things. Maybe they may use the camera, sometimes they may take the photo or may video, and they're not bothered about the online safety and privacy. How can we tackle that? In addition to that, as an educator, even from the school perspective, I don't know how much we are particularly about focusing on copyright violations.
Pardon?
Copyright violations. Copyright. The laptop, what we use, the software, what we use. The Windows, for example, the Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or whatever, is it really original for our cracked version? Is it purchased by paying money or cracked versions? Or the content the teachers are using from internet? We are simply taking things from Google, a lot of images or videos and content without giving any credit. It is actually illegal, copyright violations. How much our educators are aware about it? How much our children are about aware it? And also it has been noticed that though we block some of these sites, for example, social media sites in school, but students use VPN. So how are you going to make sure whether how students use the devices properly? And also how the students are not able to use for example, the site which is prohibited. Though if you are using VPN, how are you going to tackle this kind of issues?
All right.
Let me
Thank
know
you
your
so much,
answer.
sir. Would you like to take that question, sir?
Yeah, I was going to say that there was a lot of things that he mentioned, and I didn't catch everything. I think you need to invite him
Sir,
as a guest.
Would
one
you like to
day.
take it, Lakshya?
So there was some.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe we can break
Tabusam
it
is
down
taking.
into pieces.
Are you a principal of a school?
Yeah.
No, I am not a principal, but I am head of the department.
Head of the
One department,
of
social science.
which department? IT?
Social science, social science.
Social science
Yes.
department. So you're very interested in creating an awareness of digital literacy and cyber security, right? I'll ask you one question.
Yes.
Answer me honestly. How many books on the set topics do you have in your school library?
That I need to check because I am
No,
not
same
into that.
thing.
But
We are
have,
here to discuss digital literacy. I think we as leaders, there are many things we can do to spread this awareness of digital literacy. You must get first books on in your library for digital literacy. There are many books that have been written on digital literacy. Hassan Thinmaz, I know Colin Landshaker, Jason Ola, Gavin Dudiney. Good books on digital literacy. Get your kids to read on such topics as leaders, as teachers, because we have a responsibility as well to spread. It's very true. I'm going to ask a question to them as well as to what we as leaders can do to protect our children. See, in your careers, many of you are principals here. I am 36 years into the profession, 24 years as a leader. I have seen many intelligent students, first rankers and 90 percenters ruin their lives, go the wrong way because of wrong choices and doing what you are referring to, intelligent. But I have never heard of a wise student going wrong. The difference between the two is intelligent people always know what to do. They are digital freaks. Wise people, I'm answering your question, they know what not to do. And I think we as leaders, I think we are on the path to get many 90 percenters in our school, but we haven't made a life because all those lives have gone to ruin because we missed the larger picture in training them to be wise. And that's what you are asking. Anyone who's wise will know what not to go on, what not to try. So, ma'am, if you can.
Well, I was going to contribute one piece. I think you wanted to tackle the copyright. So the piece that I was going to address is when you mentioned the how. I think you should definitely start with a policy. Okay, You need to have an online safety policy because online safety is just as important as traditional safety, right? So you should have a policy that has clearly outlines the expectations of the school and the expectations of usage, correct? Then you need to have a digital citizenship policy or framework, I would say, so that there are clear expectations for teachers, students from top to bottom, parents as well, all stakeholders, okay? And then you need to integrate that digital citizenship framework in your curricula across phases, across subjects. I think that's where you need to start. Once you have the vision in place, now you need to start implementing. You need to start monitoring, just like any other curriculum that you would introduce or implement into your school. And of course, safety is the most important issue, and ethical usage. I can't stress any further to make sure that we are monitoring our children all the time. I have two small children, and they're even on the internet more than I am, and they're 4 and 5 years old. So I have to monitor them very closely and make sure that what they have access to is within my values. So it's our responsibility as a parent or as a leader of a school to make sure you have the correct controls on the access in your school. And we've even had challenges with that. So it's an ongoing process because students are coming from all over the world. So they're able to search things in different languages. So you are always maybe one step behind depending upon how smart your children are. And a lot of times they're smarter than us.
Akbar, I'm going to come in here. You can put all the jammers in your school. You could have all the protocols set in your school that kids cannot access what you think they should not access. What happens when they go home?
Correct.
What happens when they go home? They will fool their parents left and right. So you need to make the parents digitally literate as well. So here comes the question to you, Tabassum, if you don't mind. How can you involve parents in making them digitally literate and also use them for cyber protecting your students, for both? How do you involve your students? It's not easy. These days, the only time parents come to your school is for a primary school function. You invite senior school students to your school for a function, the hall is half empty. And the problem lies with the senior ones. So, ma'am, do you face the same thing in your school, or do parents come? Then just answer me, do they come or do they not come? Senior students.
If we conduct just e-safety workshop, they don't turn up.
They
mostly.
don't turn up, see?
So what we do is we conduct mommy and me session along with that e-safety workshop. Also, we cater to online e-safety workshops. Regarding we have to focus on the important, interesting topics. Sometimes the parent don't understand what it is. That is also one of the reason. So when we say that parental control, e-safety, cyberbullying, they understand. So then they come online, they come up with questions. Parents have asked, how can we control, ma'am, what they are doing in the class, at home. So there are softwares which we provide to the parents through which we can monitor. There are softwares like Studio and all these parental controls, and there are softwares. But again, giving time by the parent matters a lot. Most of the parents are working, including myself, but we forget that our children are at home. We are also on the device. They are also on the device. So we should also be a role model to them to check, hi, my dear, just, in a friendly way. What are you doing? Can I also play with you? Like this kind of relationship bond between the child and the parent is very important, whether it is to fix the physical behavior of a child or for safeguarding the child from e-safety. So this is what is very important, which we have to provide a workshop to parents, and it should be ongoing.
All right, thank you so much. Tabassum, you can answer.
I just forgot my question. Can you please come again?
How should you involve parents
Okay.
get them on board? How could you use parents
For digital
to
literacy.
digital literacy and protecting your students and their children?
Okay. First of all, as you told in the very beginning, that it's very challenging to bring a parent on board in school for these kind of programs, especially in higher grades. So, yes, when we from yesterday, as you were telling, we are also listening to the all the sessions, like how Brajesh, sir, the CEO of I think Singhania University, told the ABD structure, the awareness. Obviously, that comes only with the parent involvement as well, because the awareness to the student can be imparted at the school. At the same time, it is to be imparted at the home level as well. So bringing them on this board, most of the parents, definitely the one who is bit educated and literate about these things, will come on board. But few from the former belt, that cannot happen. They don't even know what is FB, what is Insta. They don't even know. So for them, it's bit challenging. As I said, 50-50 of those kind of a parent can be the one of the PTAs, that is Parent Teacher Association, and can we bring them on board for these kind of things. At the same time, one more question you asked.
You answered for the cyber protecting factor. You haven't answered how to make parents digitally literate.
Yes. So digitally literate comes only when we bring the awareness with the parents, because most of them are not aware of it. What is digitally literate and what is the literacy we wanted them to gain it. At the same time, right now I'm a leader of the school since 7 years. I am into 18 years of educational industry since 18 years, but right now I'm pursuing certified educators as well, because I feel that so many things we do, PPTs, we work on Excel, we on Google Sheets, everything we do. But at the same time, the copyright, what the colleague was talking about, these are the terminologies we got to know how to have access on the copyright issues and how to get into those images which doesn't have issues. So these threats will get into know only when we are practicing, and that is how we have to bring awareness to our parents as well.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Chabaria, to you. Keeping students digitally literate or digital literacy to students alone and parents alone is not going to resolve the issue. Technology alone isn't going to improve student achievement. The best combination is great teachers working with technology to engage students in the pursuit of the learning they need. How easy has it been for you as a leader to digitally educate or give digital literacy to your teachers, half of whom I think, as ma'am said, were from an age that were very uncomfortable with computer. And the maximum they learned, which for them was like a winning a World Cup, they learned how to handle Zoom. And so they felt they knew everything. But learning to handle Zoom and Google search a topic on YouTube is not digital literacy. It is having a knowledge of it.
True.
So, how do you go about it in your school?
See, we are not ready for change. It's obvious. Post COVID, things have been changed very easily. Those teachers who are not able to use computer, they become uh, used to with the Zoom and all the technology aspects of online education and learning management softwares. It becomes very easy post, because when we have the situation, we start dealing with that situation. We learn, we adapt according to situation. And similarly, we bring more computer literate teachers and staff, like dedicated teachers for STEM education, for uh, mobile app development, so that they are able to teach. Because children are more flexible, they are more open to learn instead of teachers. It's a long journey, it's a very tough journey, it was, but now after COVID, teachers have changed and things have become much easier for us.
Thank you so much.
Can I add
Yes,
one thing to
yes,
that?
Mr.
Just to
Akbar.
add to that piece. Um, well, our most valuable resource is human capital, our staff. So we have to make sure that we continuously give them proper professional development. But the part that I wanted to add was not only equipping teachers, but also giving students leadership roles. We have a student help desk, and our students are helping teachers with technology.
I think someone mentioned it in one of the sessions. Mrs. Muzunda is here. You mentioned it. You learn from your students, right? She
Absolutely.
mentioned it.
Absolutely.
It's there,
So it's making it formalized gives them it empowers them, and it makes the students excited about helping our adults in the school. So that's the piece I wanted to add.
This question is for the audience. Anyone could answer. The discussion point here is for digital literacy among students. But studies have revealed very clearly that digitally educated students have a reduced concentration span. They have become more aggressive. They are unable to handle emotions and situations. They have an inability to express. Their concepts are unclear, as there is no personal touch of an educator. The whole time they are with gadgets, and somehow they lack in communication. Do you agree or do you disagree? If so, why? Anyone can answer that. Oh, we have lots who want to answer. Ma'am, come, ma'am.
Actually, it's a very good question, and it's giving a very brief about what we are saying like the last 2 days. How far we are going into this digital, and how fast our kids are taking it. I 100% agree with what you have said, that yes, the disadvantage is a bit clear with this generation in a matter of such emotional sense, communication skills, the way they are even accepting everything around them. It's a little bit materialistic because of this digital effect. This is the cons, okay? But I will give a little bit role for us as a generation who were attached to the nature, to the manual, to the emotions more in their way of education, that our role now is to make this balance for them. As long as we are giving a good time for this digital time, we have to go for some spirituality, some mindfulness time with them, to connect them with the environment.
Very good.
Yes, and I guess that the education most probably will have a new timetable schedule in most of the institutions. As what we can say, like when computer science came into the schedule, like one subject, we got, wow, there is something called computer science in the schedule. Yeah, it's an activity class. It's nothing that important. Now it's a part of our life. So I guess that living skills will be the new subject which our kids has to take it, and it has to be added for our schedule, whatever higher education or middle school or even postgraduate. We have to keep kids connected. So
Very good. Well answered. If I have to sum up, you can clap for her, please. Yeah. If I have to sum up what she said and what I said, I think there are two sides to a coin. Digital literacy is very important for schools to push. What is equally and not less important is please have serious and good life skill classes in your school. It's very, very important, and that will drive home what she tried to say. Yes, ma'am. Too much of anything is bad, but you spoke about IQ, SQ, EQ. Ma'am, there's another Q that's being spoken about these days. AQ.
I
I
would
think
also
that
like
is.
to take an opportunity. See, as you asked, whether we agree or disagree. Coming back to the research points that you have mentioned, that digital literacy or digital, you have mentioned too much use of technology leads to some kind of negativity. Yes, that part we all agree. It's not only about students, it's for everyone. But technology is our life. We have to ensure that our children are equipped to deal with the challenges of technological integration in their life. This is important. We cannot just say that whether, we cannot even raise a question that whether this is good or not good. This is the need, this is the reality. How do we address the reality? How do we move forward with that? With having implementing the safety measures, that should be the point of discussion. But digital literacy is the key. You can take any exams, any entrance examinations, for that matter, in subjects like medicine. Almost all the written examinations happens through technology, Moodle. Then they have an oral examinations too. But in the universities, gone are those days. We are talking about schools in the universities, gone are those days where the students have to write elaborate handwritten papers. I'm saying this from experience because my daughter is studying medicine.
Absolutely, ma'am. We completely agree, and I am very much with you. It is the future. But what we are saying is about balancing both. And ma'am spoke about the imbalance that does exist. But let's talk about something positive about digitalization. There are some children, would you agree with me, ma'am, or one of you could answer, for whom it has come as a blessing in disguise. I know many students who are very reticent, quiet. They just don't like speaking. They will be in their own corner. They hardly interact, but they are wizards when it comes to technology. So, would you agree that for many, it is an opening actually? And what would you do to encourage such students? I'm sure many schools are there that, as much as they have debate competitions, they have started a web designing page competition, giving children a space to evolve in what they are good at.
Yeah, definitely. I will agree with that. Those who are reserved, like I'm a little reserved when there are many people, though I'm speaking, but I used to be. So for students like me, definitely technology is a very good platform where you can just give a Mentimeter and you can tell the student, you can make those reserved students participate. And then there are a lot of tools like Nearpod. There are so many tools, and there's Plicker Card. Uh, what I will say is our teachers have to be educated. Teachers have to be trained. Teachers have to be provided with PD session on this. And definitely it's a boon for all those students who are reserved and who is scared to express themselves. But again, those reserved students must again be must know the pros and cons of using online safety. They have to know the pros and cons of using the devices. Is it safe to write this here? That can become negative also if they take an advantage. Okay, nobody can make out if I write this. So they should be given that awareness of digital safety. Definitely, it's a boon.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chabaria, this question is for you. How can educators integrate digital literacy skills into the curriculum effectively?
I've already mentioned that we have introduced a special class, special curriculum has been introduced in our school because dedicated teachers and dedicated curriculum is required to introduce, because we are creating future generation which is totally dependent on uh, soft skills. So we need to introduce separate classroom, separate teachers, separate curriculum, so that we can introduce digital literacy within our schools. Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, my school is a British curriculum school. So we have in Cambridge digital literacy itself is a subject. So digital literacy bringing in right from kindergartners. And there is a platform called National Online Safety. I mentioned earlier as well. There is a proper curriculum right from KG up to grade 12. So we can integrate that curriculum not just in IT classes, but separately as well. Moving on to what one of the guests here said, that we have to integrate life skills. Yes, we can do a lot with this devices. We have to, this is what I said, we have to provide professional development to our teachers, how to take those lessons out of the box. Before, we used to give the students projects just to make a project with a chart and all this. Now we have to encourage our students to use Padlets, do a research on birds, which type of food the birds like. They like to come in the winter, during the winter holiday project, that in an integration with different schools across the world. There are many different projects, sustainability projects and all this. So this can be integrated, and there is a defined curriculum in Cambridge. Also, in National Online Safety, also there is an e-safety curriculum, and there are courses for the educators as well to get educated, and also for the parents. And how to provide this awareness to the students? We can form a digital safety team, as Sir said. So, and we can have digital ambassadors in the school, and we can conduct debates, we can conduct panel sessions like this, and we can conduct like app making competitions where they do not use pirated software. So these type of programs we can bring in, and there is a curriculum for it.
Thank you so much. We hardly have any time, but I would love to end. The past has gone. We live in the present. But I think it's good to see where our future lies. Mr. Akbar, we are sitting and discussing digital literacy here this year. We don't know what we're going to discuss next year. We don't know what's going to happen. Where do you see the schooling system 5 years from now?
It's hard to say, because
But as a leader, I think we must have
well,
something to think what it would be like. Will there be textbooks in classes? We all have textbooks in classes. Or will that be a done away thing with?
I think in 5 years we'll be more clueless than we are now. because
See, we have to understand. I'm sorry I'm interrupting. We are all leaders, and we all have students who are in kindergarten and in class 1. By the time they go looking for a job, there will be nothing less than 1 million or 2 million new jobs. And you can sit here and debate for the next 3 hours. You will hardly get to discuss or think what those jobs are going to be. And there were some terms which I read in the book which does not come to my mind right now, but weird professions. Very weird professions. So where do you see us, or what do you see us discussing 5 years from now?
Absolutely. Like I said, I think we'll be more clueless in 5 years than we are now, because the growth of AI and technology is exponential. So
Yes.
we have no idea where it's going to be in 5 years. And that little time span, the improvements will be far greater than what we've seen the past 5 years.
Absolutely.
So we are preparing students for a world that we don't know what is going to be, what jobs we don't know are going to be there. But what we have to ensure is that students, our learners, have skills and adversity.
Yes. Exactly.
You mentioned the AQ. So we have to make sure our students have those 21st century skills so that they are able to make sense out of the world that they live in, even though we don't know what is to be next. So that is what we should continue to do, is to keep preparing our students with skills and making sure that they understand that the world is ever evolving. So they have to continue to be lifelong learners, and they have to be able to adjust and be able to face adversity. And that's what we'll see in 5 years for those who are successful, that embracing of a changing world.
I think that's a lovely way to end this panel discussion. That's what we must pray for. And that is how we should empower our kids for the future with skills. And technology is the pen and paper for the future. The real power of technology, I heard, is the ability to empower people to do things that they were never able to do before. With that, good evening and thank you, my panelists, and thank you for the lovely audience as well.